Hey everybody, today's video is going to be my YouTube paycheck for March 2017. For those new viewers out there, what this is basically my month-end wrap-up, my net payday for my YouTube channel, and a little bit of a breakdown of how that number came about, as well as for those people that are interested and just been following my channel for a while, to basically see how it's doing. For those that aren't familiar with it, I started my channel, Key West Kayak Fishing, basically in November 2015. I didn't start monetizing the channel, meaning I didn't allow ads being placed on my channel until the first week of December, basically. And the reason for that is I think because when you don't monetize, not only don't you as a creator not make money, but also Google or YouTube specifically or AdSense doesn't make money off of your channel, so they end up inheriting all your expense and costs for doing the videos, but there's no positive side to it. So at the point when you get large enough, I think it starts standing out that, hey, this channel could be making this much money for us, but they're not monetized. So why are we featuring this channel and pushing it out to all these different viewers when we could pick somebody else that is monetized and is going to make money for them and us, the YouTube? So I had a big drop off when I didn't do it, and then when I did turn it back on, it started picking back up again. So that's kind of the reason why I ended up dropping in December. But anyways, I have a playlist on my channel, if you go to it, called YouTube Paychecks, and I go through my December, January, February. There's a video for basically every month, and I just go through a wrap up of how the month went and where that net dollar amount came from. And I do this because I also have a playlist for, it's called YouTube Fishing. It's for other YouTube fishing channels that are interested in building their subscriber base, getting more views, getting more towards the business side of it, the monetary side of it. So I give a lot of information and tips on that. But this one in particular, kind of, I think it's just good for overall. For those other fishing channels, it gives a good benchmark to kind of understand, because the scaling will be the same. The different channels will be bigger, smaller, but the ratio of income should roughly be about the same. And then it also puts it out there so people that aren't familiar with YouTube but just watching videos can get an idea of realistically what goes around on the back end side of it. So anyways, I'm actually going to break this video up into two parts. I'm going to quickly go over March's numbers. I go in more detail on the December, January, February videos about all these numbers and the history and stuff. But if you want to check those out, and then I'll go in more detail. But I'm just going to quickly go through March numbers. I kind of want to focus in actually is in April. And it's not strictly just April's month, but what has happened in, I think it was the end of March, the big ad crisis with YouTube, and how that's going to affect us YouTube fishing channels. Versus other types of channels out there, and what kind of results I'm seeing, and something that you should be able to look out for, especially those people that aren't familiar with it, keep up with the business side of YouTube. And like I said, is you might not understand why this month is great, next month might be crappy, and that might explain it. But anyways, taking a look at March, had a pretty good March. Another history that I went back and forth, my wheelhouse, my individual bang for the buck time frame is actually November, December, January, February. And the reason being is that I'm in Key West, Florida, which is a Caribbean island, 100 miles from the southernmost part of Florida and Miami. So we basically have Caribbean temperatures, sunny year round. We really don't get cold. Our winters, maybe a week or two in the 60s, or a really rough year, we might get a couple days in the 50s. But so in November through February, where everybody, including the mainland, is rain, snow, cold, gloom, stay indoors, nothing to do. I'm out fishing in the sun, so it's kind of like I have my locked in audience. So I really focus in on those. March is that borderline when you start watching videos and more people are out in short sleeves and shorts, and people are out there fishing. So people are more in tune of actually going out and doing stuff versus locked indoors and watching my channel. So I expected kind of a bit of a taper. But again, March was a pretty good month. The net payday was $1,371. For those that don't understand, this does not include any taxes. This is just gross pay that AdSense gives you a check, and you're still required to pay the taxes on that to the government side of it, state and federal. And that was based on a view count of 676,000 for the month. So a pretty solid month if you take a look there, not too bad. The CPM was $2.02. What the CPM is cost per mil or cost per thousand is basically what it means. This number here, although I write it down as 202, is just basically because it's cost per thousand, so 1,000 blocks. I have 675 blocks of 1,000, and if I divide 1371, the dollar amount, by that 675 blocks, it comes out to $2.02. So basically, for every 1,000 views, I basically got paid $2.02. Okay, and why that's not a realistic number, it's a final number, but it's not a realistic number, is because every ad that you want, or how you make money on YouTube, is by the ads. Okay, and a company called AdSense is the main one that does it. So when you watch a video and before the video starts, an ad might pop up, or halfway through the video an ad might pop up, or at the end an ad might pop up. Those AdSense driven ads are basically where this money comes from you clicking on them, either watching the video, or the true back end part of it is that there's an agreement between these people that are buying the blocks of advertising, the businesses buying the advertisements. So they talk to the AdSense people and they come up with the agreement, say, hey, we'll pay $4 for every 1,000 views that our ad gets. Okay, and then they run it for 1,000 views. There's $4 made that they charge. Then there's a split between Google AdSense and the content creator, myself. Usually like a 60-40 split towards the content creator. So I might get $2, they might get $1.50, or however it works out. But that's generally, it can go higher. As you can see, there's some days like in December, remember November, December, Christmas holidays, wallets are open, money's flowing, credit cards are out. So a lot of people pump a lot of money in there, but then you got January, only $1.39, starts back up February, March wasn't half bad, $2.02, not too bad. Then my subscribers, as you can kind of see how we're trending, just for general growth. Subscribers means nothing in regards to income. Means really not too much. People use that as a gauge of a channel, but it really doesn't mean anything. That means everything in this regards, the view counts. Then that brings us on to the second part, the ad crisis. Okay, let's talk about this ad crisis and how it affects YouTube fishing channels in particular. For those that aren't familiar with it, basically all it was is, it is a big deal, but really all that happened was on YouTube, and talking about those same ads, the mainstream media got a hold of some situations where there's terrorist websites are doing videos on YouTube. Okay, YouTube is an open format. Basically, you could pretty much throw anything out there up to reasonable amounts, but there are terrorists YouTube sites out there, okay, that promote that kind of thing. And what happened is some of the ads, although there is a high-end filtration system that covers 99.99% of all these issues, some of it got through, and those advertisements got connected with those terrorist videos, and they've got shown. Then there's two different parts of it. The mainstream media got a wind of it and used that as leverage to say, hey, whatever company, your company's videos are sponsoring terrorists now because your videos, your commercials are being shown on YouTube on these videos. There's a split side of it too, that it's kind of being pushed by a guy that has a patent for a filtering system that it can be utilized to scrub all those websites to make sure that those ads don't ever get placed with it, even though it's just a very rarity that those did get through Google's existing format. But either way, it happened. The media, of course, blew it up. And there's another sidebar of it, is that you have to also realize that YouTube is the #2 search engine. Google, the parent company, is #1, but it's also the go-to for almost everything, including news. So the current old school news medias are very threatened by that. Anybody with a video camera and a YouTube channel can go out there and post real live news, not something that's covered and controlled by a few network organizations, but anybody. And it's growing and growing and getting very huge, where some of these channels can get way more views than a news channel can, and reach a far more larger audience than any of these big channels can. So that threatened part of it is just like anything else. You start seeing your competitors just like explosive growth and you're shrinking. You start doing stuff to try to salvage your job or your company and so forth. So that was one of the things that happened. It blew up, and all of a sudden this very small issue became like a huge deal, where they started going to these larger companies saying, hey, your company is sponsoring terrorists. Boom, here it is, blah, blah. We're going to tell everybody in the world you guys are sponsoring terrorists. So, of course, what can those companies do? But just like anything else, knee-jerk reaction, pull out. Say, YouTube, we can't do this. We're out of here. We're taking our money out. And one big company goes, another big company goes, and then medium company size got to go, and smaller companies got to go, and it's just that waterfall effect. So in the net result, in a matter of weeks, YouTube lost hundreds of large corporate organizations that were buying these ads for that are played on the YouTube videos. And so the net result was, in a couple of weeks, they were down $1 billion in potential revenue. So of course, okay, it's the trickle down, okay, it's going to impact everybody, and it kind of has down to the creators that are making money off of the AdSense and the ads here. And that's kind of what I wanted to show in regards to April. And it's still panning out. Google's working on it. The media is still going after it. But like anything, it's big, and then people get bored with it. It goes away and things go back to order. But we're still in that transition part. Google, of course, knee-jerk reaction too, and just started doing a bunch of drastic changes, trying to win back those $1 billion. So they've been doing a lot of sketchy stuff to a lot of different people. Now, I don't really care about that part. I really care about is the fishing YouTube channels and how it affects us. Realistically, I've only found a few instances where it's really touching us. If you are part of alternative news, well, basically, if you are doing anything related to the news, if you are doing anything related to what would be on the news, you are going to be in trouble, because what happens with that knee-jerk reaction with YouTube is that they demonetize videos that fall under those categories. So a very close relationship to YouTube fishing would be gun channels. Okay, outdoors, guns, kind of fishing, hunting, kind of related. But guns specifically, those channels that are specifically about guns got hammered. And all that they do is they're not going to say you can't make videos, and they're not going to say you can only do videos about this way. All they just have to do is just say, you are no longer going to get ads on your channel. And they're not even saying, they do demonetize by just saying forcibly, this video is not open to having ads placed against it. Just none. Okay. that's one way where, like, if you were in any of these other genres that are a little bit more up there, anything racial, and like I said, anything that would be big news subject line, those would be off limits. You don't even want to mention them in your videos. Okay, it gets that bad. Okay, but for instance, like I was talking about the gun channels, you can still put out whatever videos you want. There's nothing against that. And they're not even going to say, we're not going to give you that check mark of, oh, this video is demonetized so you can't make money. They say nothing's wrong with it. But what they do, though, is on the backside is not place any ads on that video. So you have no way of making money, because you can get millions of views on your videos, but if there's no ads being optioned on there, you're not going to make any money. Okay. And that kind of leads into a couple of things that I will say that has impacted that I've seen it. This started probably a couple weeks into March, and then it's going on through April. One of the things I saw in March was my N number. And this is one thing that you have to understand, is that we really have very little controls over the aspect of what Google does. They could just basically say, you don't get any money. And what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about it. But I was tracking my March because I was trying to keep the trends up, always doing better than the last month. Although because of the CPM, you really can't, it's not really controllable that way, but just for the sake of it. And I did beat February. I think I was in the 1460s or whatever for my March. You can look up dailies, how much income you're producing every day or every video and all so forth. I was tracking by day, and there's always a 2 to 3 day delay for the reporting to catch up to it. So about a week or 2 weeks into April, I was basically 1460 in my March. So I was like, good, I made my March numbers, just like your business. Oh, you got to make your budgets. That was my budget. I made it. All right, everything's good. It was a tough month, but I still made it. But then somewhere in that last week, in the third week of April, is when they cut the checks and say, this is your final paycheck. I lost about $90 just like that for no reason. Now, I could kind of find out why. It was just, nope, you get $13.71 now. And I have a feeling that is one of those instances where they got to recover expenses. $1 billion has to come back from somewhere. Okay, they can't just say, oh, us YouTube, we're going to eat the expense and sorry, we'll take the hit for you guys. No, they're going to say everybody's going to pay back the house. So I think that's kind of what happened there. The other part of it is kind of 90%, I'm going to say we don't get affected, but the other small percentage, what happened is the CPM, and you can see that there, $1.65. We're dropping again, $2.49. This $1.39 was a huge miss, and that's why that small amount. And $2, and $1.65 is where I'm trending at. And I think that has to do with when they pull out so many dollars of all these big companies that run primarily a huge amount of ads, okay, and those are just gone. It affects the creators in individual videos, because now they don't have as many ad blocks to push out onto all the channels that have videos that would want to make money on them. So what they're doing, and I've seen this, is that you're not getting as many ads placed on your videos as was before. Because before it was almost every video that was played, you had some sort of ad in front of it. And it just, watch a video, there's an ad. And that means your CPM is going to be higher because everything has a potential of making money on it. But when they don't have that big pool to pull from, so now it's maybe every 2 videos you get 1 ad, or every 5 videos you get 1 ad to share, because they have to spread it out. And that's kind of the effect of that CPM change there, is that you're having to get a lot more views just to get that shot at an ad being placed on your video and get that credited to your cost per thousand. So that's kind of the effect there. I will say also in April, I think it was the 16th of April, and that might be, I think, a common thread date that you might take a look at your video. But there's a day there where it's a no income day. Like I trend between $30 to $100 a day pretty consistently, but I've never had one where I got zero for that day. So I think it was April 16th, 15th or 16th, but it was absolutely zero. I had the same amount of views and everything was showing the same, but just income was zero. And I think that's when they were going through and they like knee-jerk reaction. We got to do stuff. We got to fix this. Just cancel everything and we got to clean things up. And that's kind of, it takes a big hit. So that's $30 to $50 right off the bat there. So that could be happen. It could be a lot worse. A lot of these channels, those genres I was talking about, they went from up to whatever they were at to that zero onward. Since March, April, zero across the board. Same amount of views, same subscribers, same growth, same everything, but zero. So a lot of these big guys are really like scrambling, like, holy crap, what are we gonna do? So that's the effect there. On the flip side, I'm gonna say it hasn't affected us because we're a pretty safe genre. Fishing is pretty safe. It's not very political. It's not very conflicting. It's not a societal type issue. So it's pretty safe. I would say hunting, I'm not sure how they're getting affected, but I think that would probably be definitely above fishing. And then, like I said, the other genre, which would be guns, which would be definitely got hit. So it's kind of those three things there. I know for a fact that a lot of this miss that I'm going to have, I think I'm going to have $1,000 April roughly, and which is going to be a big drop there. But I'm going to say that I'm going to blame a lot of it on a windy April. I mean, I've gone a total of 0 days offshore for April, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get out this is 3 weeks, and I don't think in the last week I'm going to be able to get out. So it'll be a full month of my bread and butter, which is offshore fishing. I'm never got a chance to go out. As you guys probably noticed, I took the whole week, last week off because it was just 20, 25 knots, rain, storming. It was just no reason to kill myself when the CPMs are gonna be that low. The quality of the videos are gonna be crappy, and it's just gonna be a bunch of just filling stuff. And I didn't feel like doing this, so I just, not gonna do it. So I'm missing a week. So that's just out of 3 weeks here. Only 2 weeks of them had videos on them. And those 2 weeks were windy day videos. So not the best fishing stuff there. And I can also say, like, one of my videos, I did a catch and cook with a mangrove, I think surf and turf mangrove snapper, has 50,000 views in a week. So it's not like anything's being throttled back. It's just, you have good quality watchable videos. You keep putting them out consistently and you're still going to get that growth there. However, the monetary side might be a little bit lower, but it's not like zero. It just might be stretched out a bit until they can get some of these larger advertisement dollars back and then being able to spread things around. So that's basically it. It's really not controllable. I'm going to be probably later on when I hit the 30,000 subscriber mark, I'll probably start going over some videos about some alternative monetary angles to get away from this. Because as you can see, you have zero controls when you are relying strictly on ad money. And you'll always hear these people say, try to diverge yourself from it. It's just, you can't control it. And this is a perfect example. You could be making money and tomorrow you can be making zero and nothing on your channel changed. So you just have to be very careful about that. But anyways, that was my March, pretty good month. That's a transition month. May and June are going to be solid for two reasons. There's a good YouTube watching months in general. But for me, May and June are good weather months in the Keys. That summertime and the big fisheries open, everything is around, and I can get on the water and do whatever I want to. So that means my quality of my videos are gonna be better. I could push a lot of content out, good quality watchable videos. So I'll see that growth there. And then farther on, July, I expect to dip again because that's summer vacation time. But anyways, that is my March 2017 paycheck. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next video. Bye.